Do you believe that there is such a thing as the perfect man for you? Like, that meets everything and more on your...
It's for all of my people who be fighting depression. When you think about your life, you can't help but to stress it. You're counting all your failures, but never counting your
All right,
blessings.
no eggs. So we have such a special guest today. You might have seen her around in some of our videos. This is the wife of Gorilla Pastures, Pheng's wife. So I'll let you introduce yourself, Barb.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm sure you guys have heard about me already, but I am not just Peng's wife and the mother to his kids, but I also do, I don't know. Well, see, this is the thing. I always hate introducing myself because you have to think about how you want to frame who you are, right? And I think very much so for me right now, being a mother and a wife actually is very much of my identity. But I do also therapy as well.
Yes, you're so much more than just a mother
Yeah,
and
I know.
wife.
Well, and it's funny because like even when I first started, I was started working. I was a stay-at-home mom for quite a few years during COVID, and so then when I went back, and everyone's talking about like, oh, I did this and this. I'm like, I mean, aside from my practicums that I did, I was home with my kids. You know, like
That's a lot.
yeah, and people are like that. Like that's awesome. Like that's and it's like it's always it can be definitely intimidating, but I do also therapy. I think we also graduated around the same time.
Yeah, we did.
But we do kind of. I feel like we're in the two very different spaces, and we probably do different things and see different populations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
I'm so glad
Yes,
we get
me.
this time to hang out
Yeah.
because I know Pheng has been talking about your journey on your licensure track and all of that. And so
yeah,
can you share a little more about what you've seen as a therapist? Kind of, I think we're in a very unique space being Hmong therapists, right?
Yeah.
Because not a lot of Hmong people have bought into therapy yet,
Yeah.
right? So what are you seeing? Do you see what kind of population are you working with? Do you have Hmong clients?
I do have Hmong clients, and it's really interesting because I would say the location I am at, we have quite a few different Hmong clinicians.
Ooh.
And one of my clients that I see happened to just be like, "Oh, I didn't realize that there was so many Hmong clinicians now out there." And I was like, "Yeah, there is quite a few of us out there now." It's really interesting 'cause I just don't think we like advertise it, like.
Right.
And even when I'm searching and I'm looking, I'm realizing, oh, there is a bunch of us out there. And I think in our community, being in Minnesota and the Twin Cities with a higher population of Hmong people, it just happens, that we are out there. It's just, I
Yeah.
think some people just a little bit more quieter and they just like to do the work. And then there are others that are out there that maybe are loud and like, hey, I'm here, come see me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I do have quite a few Hmong clients. I
good
have
mix.
seen quite a few of them come in and
Yeah.
to our organization, and it's fun. I
Yeah.
think it's great. I have been told that it's very much a need,
Yeah,
and
it
how
is.
people are now actively requesting a Hmong clinician. Same for any other like person of color. I've seen that where they're like, oh, my client is looking for, whatever person of color, right? Like clinician, if you're willing to take on this client,
Yeah.
if you have the time. So the need is there.
Oh.
And I just, I don't know. I wish there was like a way to kind of see everyone.
I
Because
know.
I know there's so much more people that's probably
Yeah.
working in this field that we just aren't
Yeah.
sure of. So
So how did you get into therapy? What made you want to become a clinician?
I don't know. I've always wanted to help people, and I knew I always wanted to help people. I've always been big on mental health, but when I was younger, the only route that you really think of is the medical field, right? And I think that's what a lot of immigrant families, like
Yeah.
immigrant parents, are really pushing their kids to
The
do. It's
Asian,
like,
yep.
be a doctor, not a doctor, nurse,
Yeah.
whatever. And when I looked at that, I was like, this is a lot. I don't want to do
Right.
that. And I can't do that. And for my own mental health, like, I'm not going to do that because I know, right? Like, it's like for me, it's not even like the blood or anything
Right.
because I can see things like that. It doesn't bother me. But the work that you put in is,
The patient
and
care.
right. And I think just seeing what they do,
Yeah.
that's a lot. And I think it can take a toll on you if you're not really prepared for it, right? And so I was just kind of looking, and for a while, I even thought I wanted to be a teacher, right?
Really? I can see that.
And then you also kind of see the other side of that. You're like, I
30
don't
kids.
think I can do that, right? Like, love the kids, but that's also a really hard job.
It is.
And
Gosh,
I
our
would
teachers
say,
don't get paid
yeah.
enough.
And I would say it's one of the hardest jobs out there. So I
Yes,
give
it
all
is.
teachers props because I thought about it and I've worked with kids in different fields and different careers. And
Therapy's where it's at.
hard. Right. And so, yeah, eventually I just was like looking, I'm like, well, I'm such a big advocate for mental health
Yeah.
and self-care. And I truly do believe that we need to take care of ourselves, right?
Yeah. And you do
before we can
such a
take care of
great
others.
job
Yeah.
of that. I think one of the best things that, I keep hearing from Peng is that you have very good boundaries, right? Where when you ask for that family time, you're very intentional about it, right? And I think part of why Peng loves and respects you so much is because you're so good at holding those boundaries. And so, were you always just like this? Were you always this good at having boundaries, or
Yeah.
because this is not something Hmong people have, right?
Yeah. I would say I grew up in a very non-traditional family. Like we can be very traditional, but if you know me personally, right? I'm actually, and if other people see me, I can talk a lot. Like I can be out there, very much out there, but I'm actually one of the more introverted ones in my family.
Oh,
So I grew up in a family. I have there's 5 of us girls and then 1 brother, and we're all very outspoken. And my parents, we get that from my parents. And so my parents, even when like I was first dating Pang, right, they're just like, okay, they were never really big on, oh, we're gonna force you to get married, whatever, whatever. They were like, okay, like, education's important, right?
yeah.
But they also, I felt like they themselves being very big advocates for themselves. I think me and my siblings grew up seeing that, and so we're very much that way. So once again, if you know me, you may think that she's very extroverted. I would say I'm actually pretty introverted,
That's
and
so
I'm one of
funny.
the more introverted ones in my family. So I do say me and all my siblings are very good about setting our boundaries and
Got
saying,
it.
hey, this is what we're okay with, and this is what we're not okay with.
Yeah, I love that so much. I
Yeah.
respect that so much.
And like
Right.
even our family dynamics, like we can communicate very well with each other and be very
That's
honest with each
amazing.
other. And we know that like sometimes, when you have boundaries, other people may take offense to that, right?
They do.
And I think one great thing I've learned from my siblings is that we all don't take offense to that.
Oh my
So
gosh.
we might be like,
Audience.
that's, yeah, like we might be like, that's okay. And then we'll get over it. And then we'll be like, all right, that's,
Your
that's how
boundaries.
you feel. That's, yeah, we're correct. That's your boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have such a great way of communicating. And so I think that also helps translate to our relationship with our partners. And so
Right.
for me and Ping, it's also very interesting because we've been together since we were 15, 16.
Oh my gosh.
So very immature, right? We went through different phases and different storms in our lives, right?
Yeah.
Like your brain isn't, developed until you're in your 20s. So just imagine like it was rough, but I think the great thing about Peng and I is I can be very type A and he is very type B. So we also hold each other accountable.
Yeah.
So we can call each other out and we can say, hey, like, relax, right? Like, it's okay. Or more so him than me because he is very much a free spirit. Like,
Yeah.
if he wasn't with a type A person like me, he probably would be living in the wild or, just doing whatever he wants to,
Yeah.
and I'm very much more like routine, schedules. This has to be done. Okay, don't forget about this. Like, and that's just how my brain works. And so
Yeah.
I think when I see him and he's like editing videos every day, and I'm like, okay, you spend a lot of time doing this now. Like, are you, first of all, are you okay? You know, and then it's like, all right, let's really look at this again because um, that's just not great for you, you
Mm-hmm.
know, like mentally, but also like, hey, as somebody who is a family man, like, I know you have to get this done, but um,
Ah,
let's also work on making sure we can spend time with the kids, spend time with the family,
right,
make sure you can do things that other things you have to get done or that you
right,
um, have to do that's good for yourself, you know,
right.
whatever that may be.
Yeah.
And
I have so
so,
many questions as you're speaking. I'm just like,
yeah.
gosh, did you raise are you raising your kids this way? And also, like one of the things that Pang mentions quite often is how busy the business gets, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so oftentimes what happens is he can put the family on the back burner. He
Mm-hmm.
can put, the farm on the back burner and focus on the business and
Mm-hmm.
growing that and expanding
Mm-hmm.
that. And so how do you as a mother come in and continue to raise your kids with those values and dealing with those frustrations of like, gosh, here's my husband building out his
Mm-hmm.
his life for our life
Mm-hmm.
essentially, right? Because you're a big part of Gorilla Pastures
Right.
as you're simultaneously
Mm-hmm.
building your practice. So how do you come in and work with all that, because that's a lot.
Honestly, and I will say, like, we're still human. I still get overstimulated. I still get frustrated, right? But I think I'm a big believer of communication. So, hey, you know, okay, if you need to get this done, you can have this time to get it done. And then this time is for family. So in his mind, Ping always like, oh, I always put the family in the back burner. I always put the family in the back burner. But he actually does spend a lot of time with the kids.
Yeah,
And then he
he does.
also, every night that he is with me, like we do spend time with each other,
Mhm.
whether it's hanging out, you know, watch a movie after the kids go to bed. So I think he feels like he needs to do more. But I'm like, if you think about it too, like in, in a normal family, right? You work a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. You know, people are coming home, making dinner. You spend a couple hours with the kids, and then it's bedtime already.
Mhm.
And he works a very non-traditional schedule.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, and so then like for us, we've made it work. And so on his days off, it is still that way, right? He
Yeah.
gets to sleep, you know, he has to catch up on his sleep. And then when he's awake, he, you know, gets to do what he needs to get done. And I mean, there's time for me to get what I need to get done. And then this time is set for the kids.
Mhm.
Then we put them to bed. And then it's us time. Then we get to hang out. So
Gosh, that's
it
a lot.
is a lot. But once
Yeah.
again, that's how my brain works and I thrive with that.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it works for us
Yep, exactly.
because it's like, hey, this is important. I recognize it. But also, I want to like say too, like, we try to be great parents. We're not perfect parents. I don't truly believe that there is anything, that there are no really perfect parents. Everyone's learning. Everyone's trying.
Yeah.
Something doesn't work, try something else,
Yeah.
right? And so for us, that's kind of my mentality with it
Yeah.
is I recognize, okay, I'm overstimulated because you know, as a therapist, sometimes you have those moments where you're just like, damn, I had a really
I want to give
a
up.
rough session, a
Yes.
rough day, but I still got 3 kids to take care of.
Oh my
You
gosh.
know, and
I don't know how you do
right.
that.
So
Because after a long day of like working with clients
yeah,
all day, I'm like, nobody talk to me. Guinness, leave me alone. And that's my dog. So I don't know how you
yeah.
come home to 3 kids and a husband.
I don't even know. And you know, like I will be honest and just talking like, oh, I had a rougher session, right? And then
Mhm.
he'll kind of give me the space. Um,
Beautiful.
and sometimes like this isn't and it isn't necessarily a break, but for me, sometimes cleaning is really therapeutic for me.
Is
So
it?
it
Oh
is
wow.
like for me, like I feel like when I have a clean home,
Yeah,
I have you know my mind is decluttered. And
absolutely.
so if I'm like sometimes if I'm like it's a lot, I'm stressed, whatever, I might just do dishes or I might just clean up after the kids, you know, whatever. And like for me, I feel better after that.
Yeah.
And so like it's the little moments for me that help
Mhm.
me. But it is tough. And even like when we're doing our business, right? Like I tell Ping, like, oh, okay, we'll come out and support you and do what we can, because I know that's important for him, and I know like that he always feels better when we're there as a family, and he feels like, oh, my kids are seeing me, and like we're there to support him. But then I'm like, but you need to know I can't help you, right? Because
Yeah.
I'm watching 3 kids while you're doing that, right?
Yeah.
And so he's like, no, that's okay. And so that's why this summer we got help. And so,
Oh, okay. Another thing you brought up that's really important is that you and Pang have been together since you were 15, 16. How have you dealt with the transitions of like, because both of you have probably lived many lives in between those
yes.
20 years of being together. So how have you dealt with that? The changing personalities, changing who they are.
I think it's one thing you just have to accept it. Either you grow with each other or you grow apart, right? And so that's where you see a lot of people grow together or they grow apart. And I don't think there's necessarily a wrong way to go about things, but for us, that's just kind of what happened. We just grew with each other. Like we knew we wanted to be with each other. So okay, this is what's important to him in the moment, and this is what's important to me. And another thing that's so different from us too is that he is very out there. He's a very extroverted person, and I'm way more introverted, and I like to be at peace with my own accomplishments and doing my own thing.
Right.
And he, it is more on social media and things like that. And I can be too sometimes, but for me, I'm like, oh, cool, I did this. Okay, it's like a like for me, it's more of a self compliment. Like I don't feel like I need to like share what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like I'm proud of myself, and I think for us too, like knowing that, recognizing that about each other, and then filling each other's cups the way we want it to be filled, not necessarily the way that he would want. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
Like so if I know that this is important to him, right? This is his love language. Like he really loves for me to vocalize like, oh, you're doing great, things like that, then I will. And for
Yeah.
me, if he knows like, oh, I don't want like a big old post about something I did, right?
Yeah.
And so he would just tell me like, oh, I'm really proud of you. And so like those things are important for us because I feel like it's just we recognize each other and our personalities, and we just love each other the way we want to be loved. And
I
so
love that. That's so beautiful. So, aside from being a mom, aside being a therapist and a wife, what else consumes your time? Because I'm sure taking up all these roles is exhausting, right? You talk a lot about self-care, your mental health. What are you doing to take care of yourself and your mental health? Because
Yeah.
I'm sure everything else takes precedence.
So it's prioritizing, honestly. Like for me, my kids are young and they're at the age right now where it's so important that I can be a mother to them. So I'm okay with putting like my career in the back burner. I'm still doing the hours that I need to. I'm still completing those right things to be licensed, but I recognize that it's gonna take me longer than it would take somebody else who maybe doesn't have kids, right? And they may get licensed before me because I'm not actually working the full 40 hours.
Yeah.
I'm lucky enough that my job is flexible and that they let me choose my hours and the days I want to work. And so that means, unfortunately, it's going to take me probably twice as long to get licensed. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I think when we made the decision to have kids, like that's one of the sacrifices that I knew was going to happen, right? And our sacrifices look very different for like him and for me, but for me that is my reality. And so right now I would say motherhood and then like being a wife and helping paying with the business and stuff like that is my priority. And then like I am doing things for self-care as well. I did, obviously, being postpartum, I did just start going back to the gym.
Oh my
And actually being pretty like consistent about it, because I think sometimes when you have kids, you're so tired from your job. You're like,
I don't know how you do all this, Barb.
so it's I don't know, it's the mindset. Like when your mindset changes, it changes.
Yeah.
And so for me, I don't know, it was just like a switch. I'm like, all right, I'm doing this. I'm like 6 a.m. I'm like, I'm going to the gym. I'm getting ready to go to the gym. Like I'm making the kids breakfast and I'm gonna go. And then like we'll just switch off. Then I'm like, I'm heading out, and then he would just wake up and be with the kids. But for me, like I like to get things done early in the morning so I can focus on like just the kids and whatever else I need to get done
Oh my
later
gosh.
on. So yeah, once again, I thrive with like routines, and I thrive with like, okay, having my day planned out. What
Yeah.
am I gonna do? So I think right now that's pretty much it. I mean, obviously, like the nice thing is because it's not nice. I shouldn't say that, but because we work different schedules and
Yeah.
he works a non-traditional
Mm-hmm.
schedule. When we don't see each other, I also use that opportunity for myself. So
Oh.
I'm watching a TV show. I don't know, reading a book or, trying to do something, after the kids go to bed, trying to do something for myself. So that also is really helpful for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I love this topic because one thing that I notice with a lot of Hmong couples is that the wife and the husband are very codependent, right? Where the wife tends to take on whatever hobbies and interests the husband is doing. Obviously, that's not
Yes.
you
Yeah.
right now, right? Because you are a supportive wife, you show up for your husband, yet you still have your own independence. What is your take on that? Like, would you and being a therapist, would you recommend like people to have their own life outside of their partners, right?
Sometimes, I will say sometimes couples do have similar interests and hobbies, and I think that's great, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think in a relationship, it is easy to forget about yourself and to then cling on to your partner, especially when you are together for such a long time, right? And that's where that codependency happens. And I think about this very often because it is interesting because Peng and I have been together for so long. And I will
Yeah.
say we are codependent with each other, but you are right. Like we do have very different interests and we do respect each other's interests. And that was something that we had to make clear in order for our relationship to work, right? I think it depends on the couple itself, right? Because if couples are coming into this relationship with similar interests, great, and it's working for them, right? But if you're in a relationship and maybe you're starting to feel suffocating or like you're like, okay, this isn't, I don't want to go, I'm just going to throw a random hobby. So like, I don't want to go fishing or I don't want to go, I don't know, play
Drinking is
basketball or
fun.
whatever, I'm trying to think of like pickleball is such a big thing right now, right? Like, like I don't want to just be home with the kids. Like you
Yeah.
take, like, then it is really important that you do get out there and you do take care of yourself and you do find interests that you are interested in because it's easy to get lost.
Yeah.
And it's easy to lose yourself in a relationship if you are just taking on your partner's interests, hobbies, knowing that you don't really care about them. And
Exactly.
you're just doing it because maybe like your partner enjoys it and you love being with your partner.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But once again, if you're starting to feel suffocated in that relationship, that's where, okay, that's a red flag. And it's not necessarily like I don't think it's a issue with the partner themselves unless it is a very abusive relationship, right?
Exactly.
But people get comfortable in relationships, and with that comfort, it is very easy to lose yourself.
Yeah.
So
And that's such a, common experience because I'm speaking from my own personal experience where I have been in relationships and I lost myself in it, not because the partner was like, "Oh, you must do everything that I do," right? But it's because I took such an interest in my partner that in my head, the story got twisted where it was like, "Oh, I need to be interested in whatever my partner's interested in. I need to be doing whatever they're doing so that they might like me a little more," right? And a lot of that stems from insecurity, right? And not knowing myself back then, right? So in doing so, I don't even think I would say I lost part of myself. Didn't even know parts of myself, right? So
Yeah.
it was like there were parts of myself that I adopted that I didn't like, right? Like personalities, things that I did, you know, versions of myself that I didn't agree with. I wasn't living in my values and integrity, right? And now one thing that deters me from dating is losing that part of myself again, right? Where because you and Peng have been together for longer than you two have been apart, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And so in a way, you two have grown together, right?
Mhm.
So for someone like me, I'm 35. I'm not gonna have the next person I'm with. I'm gonna have to be 80 for us to live longer and right, all
Mhm.
of that. So it's like for someone, if you were to give advice to someone like me, right,
Mhm.
as a therapist or as a
Mhm.
friend with lots of experience, what would
Mhm.
you say to those people? Because that's also what I'm
Yeah.
noticing in women who are navigating dating as, as a
Yeah.
single person now.
And I will say too, Danny, like it sounds like you're not giving yourself some credit because it sounds like you also like you went through this with your like prior relationship, or you talked about that a little bit, but like
Mm-hmm.
you like, oh, you maybe not lost yourself, but you just didn't feel right, right?
Right.
And so give yourself credit because you learned from that. And I
That's
think
true.
anyone learns from that.
Such a
And so
therapist.
like for you to be like, well, now when I'm looking in like when I'm looking for a new partner, right? Like I'm sure now you have a list of red flags and then what you want in a man,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And I feel like that's just normal as we get older, right? We also we're changing, we're maturing. Our mindset is different depending on what's going on in our life. It's not even like being afraid that you're going to lose yourself because it sounds like the fact that you are aware that that happened,
Mm-hmm.
that I think you're going to come into this new relationship more confident.
You're so right. Oh
You
my gosh,
know?
Barb. This is
Because
why you're a therapist.
but that I think but that is true, you know? And it's like I think a lot of people may go into a new relationship worried, like, I don't want it to be the same as my last relationship, right?
Right.
But also, you already have that mindset going into this relationship. You didn't have that mindset going into your prior relationship,
That's true.
you know,
That's
and
very
that's
true.
why it was easy for you to kind of lose yourself or to get comfortable, right?
Yeah.
And now you know, now you're probably going to set more boundaries.
Yeah.
And if they're not okay with that, well, then
They're
tough
not your
luck.
person. Yeah.
On to the next. Unfortunately,
Exactly.
that is how it is.
Exactly. And that's kind of a phenomenon I'm seeing with a lot of men and women who
Mm-hmm.
are, maybe leaving their marriages or like
Mm-hmm.
starting to date again, right? Where
Mm-hmm.
they're like, I don't know, I don't really want to date because like I'm so traumatized from my past marriage or my past relationship,
Yeah.
right? Where they're like, ugh, not even worth it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I'm seeing personally
Yeah.
from my own friends who are
Yeah.
single as well, right? The
Yeah.
ones who don't even want to try because they're like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm so traumatized.
And that's okay. Maybe they're just not ready.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I am a firm believer, like when you are ready, when you know, right, then it will happen.
Yeah.
Because once again, I think a lot of what's stopping us is our own mentality, our own mindset, our own worries and our own concerns, right? But when you kind of get through that, then you're ready.
Yeah,
And you know you're ready. And you're more
exactly.
confident. And so I always tell people just like take things slow. There's no wrong way to do things. Like I know some people do really feel, especially and I don't know if you're comfortable sharing, but like at 35 and you said you're single and looking,
Mm-hmm.
right? And but I have seen it too at like friends or even clients or people I've worked with, like the older they are getting, they feel like there is a time crunch. And so now they
Mm-hmm.
feel this pressure,
Yeah,
right? And so they're
absolutely.
like, whoa, you've been with your partner for so long and you have kids, so you're really good. Like, I'm over here, you know, and it is
Starting the chapter.
right. And it's a real concern. And our generation, people are getting married later and
Mm-hmm.
later. No one, I shouldn't say no one, but not a lot of people compared to what 10, 20 years ago are getting married in their 20s.
Yeah.
And it is common and it is normal now.
Right.
So I'm curious to hear from your point of view, but also maybe then like the clients you're seeing or people you have seen, what do you tell them or how do you feel about that? And do you feel like there's that pressure?
Yeah, personally, well, because I come from a Hmong ass family, and
Okay.
my Hmong ass parents are like, maybe you should consider settling down. And I'm like, first of all, I not even in the game, so. But from my clients, from my friends, I think there is that societal pressure on them, but
Mm-hmm.
they're also realizing that this time is sort of irrelevant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like they're realizing, okay, a lot of times people were getting married because of obligation, like you said, in their 20s, because they needed to get their life going, right? Now we're seeing this independence in women, a rise in independence of women, right? And so what I'm telling them is exactly what you said, right? There is somebody out there. You just need to take your time and find that right person. And if that person that you're dating doesn't align with your values and the way you're living and the way that where you're headed, then you do have to go on to the next one, right? And it's hard. It sucks because what if this person has all these qualities that they they fit your checklist, right? Yet they're missing one or two of these things. And I think that's what we're seeing. Like these people are only missing one or two criterias, right? And that's personal for me too, because I can be like, oh my God, this person is perfect.
Yeah.
But just this.
So can I ask a follow-up question then? Do you believe that there is such a thing as the perfect man for you? Like that meets everything and more on your list?
Girl, I will say I have met the perfect man a million times, and it was just the timing.
Okay.
Right. And it could have been timing because of me, or it could have been timing on him, right? It just wasn't aligned. Or like I'm seeing like lots of great people, and I'm like, wow, if I had met you like before I am in my place in life, then maybe things would work out, right? So yeah, I think.
Because I'm wondering, like, for people who maybe feel that way, right, like your clients, because I'm sure there are some people out there who are like, no, like I know my perfect man is out there, and they're gonna meet all of my criteria, right? But if they're missing if you meet a great guy that has most, but maybe missing one or two on that list, is it?
So for me, it's always been. It's not that they are missing one or two things and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
It's that the one or two things that they're missing, it's super freaking important, right?
Okay,
like,
that makes sense.
Okay. Not single.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big one.
Red flag.
Right?
Biggest red flag. Yeah.
Amazing man. Not single. I'm not even going to touch that.
Yeah.
Right? Where I know when I am in front of great people, great human beings, right? Like, I can sit here and recognize that your husband is a great man, right? But I'm not going to sit here and hit on your husband, right?
We'd be fighting.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's weird, right? For
Yeah.
somebody to be like, oh, just because I recognize him as a great man,
Right.
I'm not going to try to advance on that. But some people do.
But what about,
right?
Yeah, and that's a whole nother conversation we can have with those people
And
who
so
do that.
I respect
Right.
everyone's husbands.
But I'm guessing more so like when you're meeting, like if you're single and you met a single guy and they like, I'm meeting most of your criteria, but one or two, does
Okay.
it turn you off? Or for people you're even seeing, like client, does it turn them off? Or like, is it a need that you have to meet all and everything on that list? I know, like you said, sometimes it depends on what it is, right?
Yeah.
But if
Like-
he's single, you're single, and maybe, I don't know, I'm just going to throw out something random, like maybe they don't put the toilet seat down. I don't know, whatever it may
Something
be,
tiny.
right?
Okay, that's okay.
Or like, I guess, big ones, like red flag, like not single, right? Or like
Yeah.
maybe, I don't know. For some people, like having kids can be a turn off, right? Like,
Right.
yeah.
For me, I'm such a slow. I move very slow and intentionally, right? And so maybe if I go on a date, it's not going to be quick, right? And I think that turns a lot of men away, where it's like, oh, she's not trying to quickly enter a relationship. I can take 3 years and get to know you and be like, oh, okay, finally ready, right? Where it's like, because I want to get to know maybe not 3 years, but I want the story to slowly unfold.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't like that, right? And I know a lot of men have told me in the past, oh, you want to waste my time. And great, if you think I want to waste your time by letting things unfold naturally and organically, then that's perfectly fine. You can take that as offensive, but
I mean, that's a red flag in itself.
that exactly.
So,
and a lot of men they don't like that, right? They don't like the slow burn and the slow getting to know you, because a lot of times it's like, men messaging me out of nowhere who don't know me, and I can say, oh yeah, I can flirt with you. You can get to know me. But at the end of the day, a lot of times they're not gonna like me after getting to know me, right? Because I am very opinionated. I do speak my mind. I'm very masculine in the way that I move energetically, right? Because I'm a doer. I like to take action. I don't like to sit down and just do nothing, right? I'm very much, I have ADHD, right? I'm very much like, I have this going on and I have this going on and then I'm doing this. And a lot of men are waiting for that very demure lady
Yeah.
who's like, oh, honey.
Soft, like, yeah.
Right. And I'm not soft.
Yeah.
I'm not a soft girl.
Yeah.
I would love to be in my soft girl era.
I feel like I'm in my soft girl era right now. Like,
Because
I feel
you
like
have a husband who gives you that soft girl
right,
life.
but very much I'm like you. Like, I'm not at all. Very masculine. And everyone knows. Everyone's like, "Oh, you're so loud," and and it's like, yeah, okay. Or, but I do feel like right now I am very much in my soft girl era.
Yeah, exactly. Because you have an amazing husband who supports you. You know, he respects your boundaries and loves you, and because you do the same
Yeah.
with him, right? And so he's
Yeah.
giving you that ability to live that soft girl era.
And it's
right?
funny because I just sent him a TikTok earlier today, and it was a guy that was like, every girl wants to be treated like, like they're in their soft girl era. They do want you to hug them. They do want you to hold them,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
and like, even though they may say they don't, right? But I do agree. Like, I think because we've been together for so long, he is my safe space that I can open up and be that way, right? But also very much if I need to set boundaries and I need to like say, hey, not okay, or like whatever, then I will do so too.
Correct.
But yes, like,
Yeah.
spoil me. I want to be spoiled. And so,
And it's a
yeah.
two-way street because
Yes.
like you take such good care of Peng. Like you're so supportive. You really are his rock.
Yeah.
Like he knows you hold it down, right? And that's why he can go off and gallivant and do his stuff.
I know. I'm like, okay. And it's funny because I'm like it's every so years, like, you have always wanted to try something new, and I'm just like, okay, go ahead. And I think people were like, why do you let him do that? I would have said no. I'm like, I guess it doesn't bother me. I do believe, like, once again, what we talked about, right? Have your own interests, have your own hobby, do stuff that makes you happy. So I'm like, okay, if you want to try it, go for it.
See, this is
That's
why I
always
need a
been my
supportive
mentality,
wife.
even when we were in high school. Like, I mean, he was like, we were dating for like a couple months, and he's like, I want to be a bodybuilder. I want to do bodybuilding. I'm like, weird, but okay. Like, I've never heard of this. And I just, like, when he shows me, it's like a bunch of muscular men. So I'm like, okay, that's okay, sure, go for it. And then, so whatever crazy idea he has had, I have been supportive. And I did think about that too, but I don't even know why. I want people to do what they want to do. Like, do what you love to do. Find your passion. And I am a big believer of that, and I have always been.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess for me, like, self-care, right, and advocacy and things like that, like doing things for yourself has always been really important to me. So I guess, it does make sense that I would be a therapist.
Yeah.
Do
you see you and Peng raising your girls that way then, with that kind of
I
the
want
same
to try,
values of living?
I think, I hope. It's always so hard when you have kids because you always worry that, like, you're not doing enough, or that, like, you never know, like, you feel like you're doing what you can, and then, like, what if it doesn't pan out in the future? What if something happens? And I think that can be reality for everyone. So we're just doing our best. And so I really do hope so. And I really do. We're going to push them to do what they're passionate about. Right. But also I think we're going to be very realistic depending on what it is, so I think that's why we're such a great team, because he and I think so differently. I just hope that our girls can get the best of the both of us.
Yeah. They absolutely are.
So we'll see. I mean, there's so many influences out there, and we as parents can only do so much and what we can until they are old enough and start having their own mindset.
Yeah.
So.
Are you glad you agreed to move out to the farm and raise the girls out here? Because you are such a trooper, Barb.
Everyone that knows me is like, you're such a city girl. Like, I'm surprised you moved out there. Like, you must really love him. Like, I think a lot of it, I just didn't grow up. Peng grew up I mean, he was in Boy Scouts, and so he grew up around nature, and I didn't
Yeah.
really. And so like I wouldn't even say I'm high maintenance or anything. I just didn't really grow up in that. I don't really like enjoy that. I don't really
Yeah.
care for
The
it.
girls love it out here.
They do. They do. So moving out here was like, okay, once again, leap of faith. You know, try it, give it a try. Because Peng was always like, if you don't like it, we can move back to the cities. Right?
Yeah.
It was never a concrete decision. And it wasn't bad. You know, I'm like, this wasn't bad. I actually do enjoy having a little bit of space and, you know, not being in the hustle bustle of the city, right? And my girls love it. And so when I ask them, like, do you want to live in the city? They're like, no. Like, we want to live in our farm.
Oh my.
Like, they don't even want to move out of our home now. And so I'm like, okay. So yeah, like part of it, yes, I think it was good for him mentally, but also you never know until you try.
Yeah.
You know, try something new. And so
Right. What has been the best thing about moving out here?
honestly, seeing the girls like really just enjoy it and having their space. Like, I think in the city there is a lot of fear. Like now, right, the way things are versus maybe how we were raised in the city has changed. Um, my girls can go outside, and I know like you know there's space, right? We don't have to worry about certain things. Um, they like will spend so much time just in the fire pit, like they, they let their imagination run wild, and I think I love seeing that. And
Yeah.
I love it. And there's space that we all can kind of do something, you know, like I have my flower garden, and
Oh, I
Peng has
know.
animals, and then the girls have everything. They can have a little bit of both. And so
Yeah.
um it's yeah, I think just seeing the kids really enjoy it.
Yeah.
But enough about me. I feel like we always talk about me. But what about you? What have you been up to?
Oh man. Oh, here comes my dog.
Okay.
I've just been dog momming it. Been a therapist, working on the nonprofits.
Yeah.
He's just walking around.
I know. So he's like going to circle.
I wanted to ask, are you taking on clients? And if our audience is interested in working with you, because you work with kids and families.
I do. And actually, so I'm in the process. I just finished a perinatal mood and anxiety training. And so I'm in the process of getting my perinatal mental health certification because I do really want to work with women in the future. I think that would be my primary goal. And also like teen girls and adolescent girls. And, you know, for me as a mother, I also struggled with postpartum anxiety. And so, recognizing that the need is there and there's still so much stigma out there regarding postpartum, right? And anxiety, depression, what that looks like, and a lot of judgment.
Yes.
Judgment and there's already a lot of pressure to be a mom and to be a parent.
Yeah.
And then when you're postpartum and you have, right, like all these different hormones going crazy on top of working, on top of, you know, well, I have 3 kids now, you
Yeah.
know, and so it's a lot. And so I took the steps to doing that, and it's a process. So like it's 2 years, you have to work with the population for 2 years, and then you take like the exam, and then you pass the exam, you can be certified. And I have to do one more advanced training. So I just completed the first step, which is like it was like a 2-day
Oh my
training.
gosh.
It was
That's
a lot, and it was a
intense.
lot of information packed in those 2 days.
Yeah, I bet.
And
It's
so,
always a lot.
yeah, I think that would be my goal. And then, like, you know, with Ping's business, we do want to add a mental health component to it because,
I love
like, we've gotten so
that.
many people that will come and they're like, "Oh, this is such like I needed this,
It's so
right? Like, oh,
therapeutic.
this is really good for my soul right now, right?" And yeah, it is. Like, you think about this, equine therapy is so popular right now.
Yes.
People have pets, their dogs are
I
part of their
know.
family,
I'm trying
cats.
to get Guinness to be a therapy
Yeah.
dog.
Yeah. And so like when people see like the baby goats or like the chicks and or even I goats and I sheep and they just like, okay, like the
Life
1
ain't that.
hour of interacting with them has made me feel better, right?
Yeah.
But it's not just that. I think just being this idea of being in the moment, right? We think about mindfulness too, right? And so being in the moment, I tell Ping, obviously not right now because, our kids are young. I kind of want to focus on them right now. But in the future, I think that is a component that we want to add to Gorilla Pastures.
Yeah.
And hopefully I'm licensed by then.
Yeah.
And yeah, we can offer that for people who
Yeah.
need it and just,
So if people are interested in maybe potentially looking for therapy or working with you,
Yeah.
how can they contact you?
I mean, you can go. I don't know if I want to put my organization out there.
You can message you directly on Facebook.
Yeah, you know what? How about that? Just message no eggs, and then we can get connected that way. Once again,
Fair.
like as a private person, like I don't see this is for me. Like I don't want my
This is
business
not,
out there.
Yeah, Barb is
like,
not the
yeah,
public facing person.
I leave that to my husband. I leave that to Peng.
Fair.
But yeah, so I mean, you can message Gorilla Pastures or you can message No Eggs if you really want to get connected with me.
Yeah.
Whether it's family, if you have kids, that you have questions about that you think may need help. Once again, like couples as a part of the family, even individuals, if you just want to talk about parenting or whatever it is that you're struggling with, yeah, message us and we'll get back to you and let you know where you can reach me. So
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Barb. Anything else for our audience?
I don't think so.
Thank you so much, Barb.
Yeah.
I love this conversation. I love having a conversation with other therapists. So this has
It's
been so
interesting.
amazing.
Yeah. Mhm.
Thank you.
I do. Yeah. I kind of really enjoy enjoy to talk.
Right.
But also, yeah, it's I love hearing different perspectives and different
Yeah.
lifestyles
I
too.
know.
Because I think you have such a knowledge of wealth that I don't have,
Yeah.
and experience that I don't have, and so I
Oh,
I
girl.
love
Yeah.
hearing that. And so
Yeah, we bring different skill sets to the field.
yes,
So
yeah,
thank you so much, Barb.
yeah. Well, thanks for having me on.
Yeah.